Hey there, and welcome to the Chronic Yet Undefeated podcast. It's Kaylin here, and this is a video that I was trying so hard to make when I was sick last week. I figured I'd do it over because maybe I wasn't 100% thinking clearly, and I felt like I need to get a podcast episode out there, but I was just feeling so sick, and it really wasn't fun. I had a really hard time getting better. But something that's been on my mind that I wanted to mention was just I want to say that I like how the epilepsy community can really come together and gain awareness to share with other people how they can help, how they can be there, how they can help support us, and spread awareness about first aid and just all sorts of things like that. I like that there's been a lot of effort in epilepsy communities to crush the stigma and the false beliefs that surround epilepsy and seizures in general. And that's a really great thing to see. However, I also notice in a lot of epilepsy communities, and I've been in many different ones, I've done Zoom support groups. I didn't lead them, but I've joined them. And I've also joined, social media, groups and posted and forums. I've done a lot of different ones because epilepsy can be very isolating too at times, and it feels difficult to deal with other people sometimes. And I've had my moments where I've isolated myself, which wasn't good, but I've done it, and I knew at some point I needed some form of connection with others or support. And what I notice sometimes is there are people in these groups that are they're the sweetest people you'll ever meet. They're just I want any tip. I just got diagnosed and I just want to, just share with me. I want to learn this. I want to understand. And they're very kind and they're supportive and they're wonderful. Sorry, my lips stuck together. That was weird. My lips are very dry still. It's been a challenge to stay hydrated. But back to what I was saying, that they're just people that are wonderful, and it's really great to see. And then I've seen people just practically eat each other alive on the comments. I know a lot of people, I think there are some out there that rage bait a lot in epilepsy communities, and it's such an evil thing to do because you already have people that are dealing with trauma, medication side effects, chronic illness, just a variety of factors, and there you have people rage baiting people that are chronically ill. It's so wrong. But it does get people to argue, and it doesn't show our best side. And also some people, not everyone has the same experience with seizures. There's a lot of different types. So some people, they might have one experience and someone has another, and they can't seem to agree because they have differences in their diagnosis. And then they argue, or some people, the way they deal with epilepsy. And some people might be like, oh yeah, well, we just joke about with our kid about it. We just say jokes about their seizures and stuff, and that just helps us all. Well, I mean, I really hope it does. I really hope they enjoy the jokes. Maybe they're a good sport about it. Some people really are, and some people aren't. They're really struggling and they haven't found any healing in it yet, so they find it hard to laugh about certain parts or laugh at themselves, But I like to see, though, the moments when the epilepsy community can come together. And sometimes it just feels like there's just so much division in it, too. But we can't let that consume us. There's a Bible verse, and I believe it's in Galatians 5. I want to say it's Galatians 5:15. But it says something along the lines of, if you bite at each other, You keep arguing at each other pretty much, that you're going to consume each other. You're going to destroy each other. And that is so true. And the epilepsy community has done such amazing things to get our stories out there and everything. And I just don't want to see any of it go down the drain now. You know what I mean? We're breaking down walls, as far as helping people understand where we're coming from. And the internet has helped us so much with that. And I just would hate to see all that effort go down the drain. But also, a lot of people have anger and trauma. Some of them, a lot of people with epilepsy haven't been treated well by others. Side effects from medications can include mood swings, or even seizures can have neurological mood swings where you just feel sad, angry, upset. In some cases, just uncontrollable laughter or uncontrollable crying. There's a variety of things that make us look like we're nutcases, like we're a mental health issue, but that's generally not the case. Depression and anxiety can very much be existing with an epilepsy diagnosis, but just because our mood shifts around doesn't mean we've been diagnosed with one or the other. And that's important to understand too, that sometimes when we're in a community like that, we deal with other people that just have bad days, just like we do. And maybe we just caught them on an off day, but it's also taught me a lot about patience. Just patience in dealing with other people and learning to be kind because they're going through something too. How would I feel if someone started arguing with me when I hopped on there and I just wasn't thinking well and I said something a little off, but then it caused some huge argument? Then I feel real guilty about it later, but I didn't realize maybe fully what I was typing. And it might be the same with these other people too. I remember being in an epilepsy support group, and I was going for a time, and I was sharing a little bit, and then, there was someone much younger, I think, than myself, and they just hopped in, and it just felt like pure negativity just bursting out of their mouth, It was just like, wow, I just said all this stuff, and I'm being punched down, for it, and it was a little rough, but at the same time, I didn't get angry, I didn't retaliate, I just tried to sit and just listen, and I thought, wow, that seems like that would have been me, 10 to 15 years ago. I think this person is a lot like me 10 to 15 years ago, because I used to be very sensitive about people talking about my seizures around me. I did not even like the word seizure. It's still hard for me to say the word seizure or epilepsy without having some type of hesitation behind it. It's very difficult because there's a lot of negative stigma around it, and people don't always treat you well, and it's really difficult. But seeing that person, putting myself in their shoes for a moment and seeing, hey, this person sounds like me. And because they're younger and they also have epilepsy, and they're trying to find their place in this world and trying to discover what they're good at, what they can do, what things that they can contribute to society. And just finding where you belong is really difficult when you have epilepsy, because you feel like you don't belong anywhere. You feel like you're just existing, and that can be a very hard thing to deal with. But that really helped me to handle that situation with grace, just to listen, just to try to understand where they were coming from, but not take it personally. I didn't take it and just let it fester or anything. I was just like, I was once like that. I can let it go, because people change, and I don't have to take their advice. I can still move forward with what I was wanting to achieve, even though they had something that just struck a negative chord in them, And I just want to thank all the people that they really try hard to break the stigma in epilepsy, and they try really hard to keep unity within that community, to bring awareness and to help others and to support others. And it's a beautiful thing to see, and I hope to continue seeing more and more of that, and hoping that there will be less division among some groups, that there would just be more patience, more understanding, just being nice because we know that someone else is going through something too. And those are my thoughts for today. So I'm just going to wrap it up. And if you don't want to miss any more podcast episodes, just hit the subscribe button, and I hope to see you again. Take care. Bye.